Welcome back, everyone. Today we're going to be diving deep into an incredibly useful strategy called creative financing. Whether you're incredibly seasoned or a newbie, this strategy can unlock a lot of doors and a lot of potential deals for you as you do wholesaling and real estate investing. Stick around because by the end of this video, you're going to grasp the fundamentals of seller financing, learn how to find seller finance opportunities, and watch me talk to a seller and present some seller financing options to them and see exactly how it's done. So let's start by breaking down what seller financing is. So what seller financing is it's using the seller to finance you when you're buying their house. Usually you can buy a house with traditional financing, which is a bank, and that's what most people know. They know that they can go to a bank, the bank will give them, a loan, a mortgage, and then they can pay, put some money down, and then they can pay a certain amount of interest over 30 years, and that's what people understand. But seller financing is it's using the seller to be the bank. It's that simple. So if the seller owns their house outright, you can go to that seller and say, hey, instead of me going to get a bank loan, will you finance me? Will you sell me the house? And then the seller could say, yes, bring $50,000 down, 3.5%. Right now it's like 8% and over 30 years. Okay, and the cool thing about creative financing is it can be whatever the heck you want. That's why it's so powerful, such a powerful tool, because you can structure anything that you want to do. So if seller financing intrigues you, don't forget to hit the subscribe button so you can get more content like this. So finding a seller that's willing to do seller financing or subject to can kind of be like looking for a needle in the haystack. So how do you do it? If you want to work with sellers that own their property outright, you'd probably look for properties that are free and clear, people that own them. So if you pull that list, you can definitely do that on Batch Leads and using other softwares. So that's how you can go search specifically for seller finance deals. If you want to look for people that are willing to do subject to properties where they have a mortgage and you take over their payment, that's a little bit more difficult. There are different strategies on how you can do it, but the way I do it is I always offer a seller finance offer or a creative offer on all the offers I do, and that's why I suggest everyone does. If all you're doing when you're talking to sellers making a lowball cash offer, you're just pretty much destroying all other opportunities if that's all you do. There's so many different ways to work with sellers. You can work with them on novations. You can list it in their behalf. You can refer them to an agent and they can work with the agent you have and they can give you a referral fee. You can do terms like we're talking about right now. So what I think in the best way to find opportunities for seller finance is just offer it to everybody. There's no reason why you wouldn't. So when you present a cash offer, if they accept, great, but you can also say, hey, if you like that, this is also what we can do. Let me know which one works better for you. I wouldn't say there's like a magical list where you can find those opportunities. So what I suggest, just offer it to everyone you talk to that wants to sell their house. Look, enough of this talk. I'm tired of yapping. I'm going to show you exactly how I presented these seller finance and creative financing options to this seller. We just kind of go back and forth. That's the cool thing about seller financing and creative. You just ask them if they're open to it, and then you explore options. So let's dive right in. Those are the options that I can see at the moment.
The best option, I would consider some sort of seller financing potentially.
Well, considering 304 is where I'd like to be on a cash sale, where would it make sense for you if we were able to structure something on the purchase price?
It's going to probably be beyond your reach because, if you want the house, basically, how much are you going to put down for seller financing?
That's a good question because most of the money that I would put down, I would like to put into the house. Instead of putting money down into your pocket, I'd like to put into the house. And obviously, if I default, then you get the property that's being rehabbed, right?
If your initial number's 304, I've got offers at 410 cash. Yeah. So for me to carry it for a year, I'd have to be at least 450 to make sense.
Which I understand completely. And
then if you, based on your numbers, you're going to lose money if you put 85 into it. You're not even able to sell it for the 450 plus the 85. So
exactly. So I'm trying to think. Yeah, 480. Maybe 5. I was thinking max. I like to be conservative. Max would be like 510 on on what you could resell, but you'd have to do a really good job. Yeah. So if you got 410, I would love to just be available in chat. I would have to come up obviously off of 304, but other than the cash offer, I know you're probably just going to explore what those other guys offered because they're much higher, but if you were to do the terms, you're saying for it to make sense for you, it'd have to be a considerable amount down at around 450, not anything less than 400,000, obviously.
Right. I mean, it makes no sense to do less than 410. I mean, why would I want it to sit there for a year?
Yeah.
You know, so yeah, I mean, I would want enough down that if a person just walks away, that's going to be painful for them.
Yeah, definitely. And if we were to flip it together and I brought the rehab, if I brought the money, how would that look like to you? Like, would you be able to continue to make the mortgage payments and I just do the rehab and
Yeah, I could do something like that.
Okay. And how would you like to split the profit on that? Like what I'm thinking is like, if your best offer is 410, for example, I bring the money for the rehab, we split the profit above maybe your best offer. If the numbers make sense, I have to run it, but I'm just trying to.
Yeah, no, that seems fair. Like if you do the money, you'd get reimbursed. But yeah, I mean, that would be fair if you brought the money for the rehab. I continue to make the mortgage payment, and we would reimburse you for your costs, and then reimburse me for my interest and taxes and insurance during that period, and then we could split anything above that.
Because that's going to be probably the best way for you, I would assume, like to make as much as you can off the property, right? If it's a rehab.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's do this. I'm going to run my numbers again. I'm going to dive a little bit deeper. Obviously, if interest rates go down, we're looking at a different ball game. But you know, it's hard to base everything off of that. I have no idea what's going to go.
I agree, because it's an unknown. The other thing too, though, is I mean, I don't know if this is appealing to you, but you know, if you rehabbed it, we could probably re-rent it with a substantial deposit on a month-to-month basis for probably like, you know, $2,500 to $2,750.
Like a lease option or something, or
well, not even a lease option. Just like if we're worried about getting stuck with it, we could throw a renter in there for several months, just make them put a big deposit down, or maybe just say, okay, well, we'll lease it to you, but you know, either party can terminate with 60 days or 45 days written notice.
Okay, how would we structure that? Like if I was able to get it back rent ready, get the tenant out, get it rent ready.
I mean, I'd rather sell it. I'm just saying as like a, you know, a safety valve, so to speak.
Got it.
Let's say you get it rehabbed and we can't sell it in 2 or 3 months. Then we say, okay, let's throw a renter in there at $25 to $27.50 a month. And, you know, either party can terminate with 45 days and we'll let the renter know, hey, it's still going to be listed.
Gotcha. No, that's not a bad idea. Yeah, so you're not having to come out of pocket for the mortgage every month.
Exactly. It's a little bit of a safety valve. Then we can figure out, you know, whatever an equitable split as far as, you know, the rent that's coming, and we can deduct the taxes.
And last thing before I let you go, if I come back and it makes sense to do the rehab, would you prefer doing that over a cash offer at 410 if we were able to rehab it together, or would you rather go with the cash?
I mean, that would be, again, it depends on the numbers. What's the potential, you know, additional gain as opposed, if I could make an extra $2,000, no. You know, if I could make an extra $20,000, yeah, then it's something to look at. Does that make sense?
100%. Yeah, you're a businessman. What makes sense?
Yeah,
I love it.
So,
okay,
yeah, run your numbers, be in touch, and we'll go from there.
I appreciate your time. Thank you.
No, I appreciate yours. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
So if you found that video interesting, go ahead and leave me a comment and like the video. I'd like to hear from you. If you think that was a good conversation, great. If you didn't, let me know. I'm always down to improve, and I'll see you on the next video.